You're live.
Hi everyone, how's everybody today? My name is Karen Collins and I am the creator and curator of the African American Miniature Museum. I'm going to talk a little bit now. We're kind of waiting for more people to join us, but I have been doing this since 1994, making dioramas on Black history in miniature. My husband and I create the dioramas. He creates the wooden boxes that hold the dioramas, and I make the dolls and decorate inside. Each of the dioramas are factual in history. There's research that goes into making each diorama. We usually leave explanations inside the boxes so that people will know exactly what they're looking at. And a lot of my constituents, I guess you would call them, are children. So they always need a point of reference. What is this if they've never heard of it before? And I might do a school with 700 children in one day. So what I do is train at least 15 students the day before our event to act as docents. And inside the boxes there's information, so they'll be able to show their peers when they come in to see the exhibit. So we've been doing that since I think 1996. We started moving through the schools. We go to churches and libraries, community centers. We've been to everywhere, just name it, and we've been there. The Orange Show in Riverside, just quite a few places. So Lamert Park, that's where I paid some of my dues as an artist and exhibitor. I've exhibited many places, paid a lot of money to be seen, learned a lot about going and exhibiting. So this is what I do. I'm pleased to be here with you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them, and I will do my best to answer. How are we doing? Have we got some people?
Mm-hmm.
Good enough. Okay, so I will be 70 years old this year. God blessed me to live this long, and I believe it's for what I do. I feel passionate about especially teaching children, and I see now more than children, Black history. So we move around. It is exciting. It's joyful to see a child come in and take notes on the different exhibits. Ask questions. I see them collaborating together on different scenes. So this is our primary objective, is to teach Black history through art. And this is a very old art form. The first miniatures were found in the tombs of the pharaohs in Egypt. They were examples of how the pharaohs were to live in the afterlife. And when the pyramids were plundered, they found the miniatures, and they went to Europe, and it became an art form that adorned many castles, down to the selling of them now. I love the scale. I just loved it. And I bought my first dollhouse when I was 40 years old. And I just fell in love with decorating it. And, I put pictures up of African Americans and things that related to my culture. That was very exciting, very exciting. I was 40. I taught myself the craft. What I would do is buy miniatures, take them apart, and see how they were made, and then I would make them for my work. And I became a creator instead of a consumer in my mind. Let me see now. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, someone's saying they'd like to see close-ups of the dioramas.
Okay, we can go close up. We'll start with Malcolm X. This is Malcolm X preaching in the mosque. He's at the head of the podium. We have his security, the FOI, standing by the door. We have a guest speaker that is going to speak. And we have the congregants. Now you'll notice the men sitting on one side and the females on the other. That is how the mosques are set up. Now this I did from memory. I've never met Malcolm X, but I have been to the Muslim mosques back in the 60s, and they were usually in storefronts. So this is kind of from a memory of mine. And my husband, again, made the box. So that's Malcolm X. Life and Times of Malcolm X. This is Martin Luther King Preaches. And he's in the Ebenezer Baptist Church where his father preached. And he's just finishing up a sermon. And it's very hot. So he's kind of wiping the sweat off his brow. And you'll see the choir here. You'll see the choir director motioning for them to stand up. You'll see the piano player, and you'll also see the nurse. If you've been to the Baptist church, we're very emotional people when we praise God, and sometimes we get overwhelmed. So they always have a nurse on duty. And you'll see the little lady here is overcome with emotion. So the usher is fanning her. We see the families and their children. So this is Martin Luther King teaching. You'll see the money here. That might be from, what is it? Collection. So there. What else is in there? We'll see the stained glass windows, which I made from a picture of somebody else's artwork. And they look like stained glass windows to me, so I used that. And this was something, the praying hands, I had to use paint to make them black, African American. So this is Martin Luther King Preaches. On this side, we have the shadow box from Google. Google called me one day, and I thought it was somebody pranking me. And the guy said, Miss Collins, this is so-and-so from Google. And I said, oh, yeah, right. I said, okay, what? Like that. And he said, Miss Collins, I've seen your work, and I am a fan. And we would like for you to create something for us for Black History. And I said, okay. And he gave me his number and everything, and we talked quite a bit before to tell me exactly what they wanted. And they wanted to celebrate the Greensboro sit-in in North Carolina during the Civil Rights era, the boycott of Woolworths. And there were 4 students, college students, that came in and asked for service and were denied. They stayed there the rest of the day. And then the next day they came back and did the same thing. They were still refused service. The dinner places were very segregated everywhere it was in the South. So they decided to keep doing it. Well, it became the focal point for civil rights and activism, because like in the next week it was 1,000 students that showed up. And as they moved through the South, it got very violent. They were beaten, spit on, everything. But it did not deter them. As a consequence, approximately a year later, the lunch counters were desegregated. So this is the activism that went on in the civil rights era. And this, they wanted just a simple scene of a lunch counter and something to symbolize the 4 students that came and started. And this movement went all over the United States in desegregating different public services. So that's the Google. And I was very proud and very shocked that they chose me. But he said he saw my work and he was looking for somebody that made things. And he decided to call me. So this was the first thing you saw on Google, February 1st this year in Black History. So that's the Google box. Next, we exhibited at the Downtown Central Library for about 5 or 6 months maybe. And this was commissioned Black Lives Matter by the library. And they wanted me to create something about Black Lives Matter. The first one is Trayvon Martin. And you see him with the iced tea in one hand and the Skittles bag in the other. I tried to bring the images forth that would remind us of what happened that day. How simple he was. He was just a kid going to the store and coming back. And he was killed. In the background you will see other pictures of different ones that died at the hands of police. You see the protests in back of him. So every time I make a diorama, it's not only about the figures, it's about the environment that they're in. So that was the first one. This was Black, and this is Lives. This is a Black family that is burying their daughters, a female. And she was killed unjustly. So it was Black Lives Matter. And the last one is one of the protests. And that is of the protesters out stating their case that Black Lives Matter. And that is what we're experiencing now in the United States and all over the world, literally, that Black and brown lives matter. And here recently, Black women lives matter. So we have to keep on with this. We have to be just steadfast. That's what happened during the civil rights era earlier. Those people marched and suffered I don't know how much violence and consequence because of their beliefs, because of what they wanted life to be like for us. So we owe them a debt of gratitude. So that was Black Lives Matter. So to lighten everything up a bit, this is The Wiz. I love Stephanie Mills and her performance on Broadway, even though I never saw it. I loved her voice, and I made this in 1997. And this is a scene from The Wiz, and it's kind of eclectic. It may look like The Wizard of Oz, but it is The Wiz due to the characters. So we have the Wicked Witch of the East, of the West, yeah. And we have the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, Dorothy, Toto, the Scarecrow, and the Good Witch. So most of this was made by hand. I will use anything in my environment as long as it's in scale to create the dioramas. So I borrowed from my grandchildren some of their parts of their Wizard of Oz toy. And that's how we made that. And then there's the Yellow Brick Road and It's actually a tree bark there that we put there. So they're going to Oz. And let's see. I'm gonna show you some more. I am a living grant.
Living cultures. Living cultures.
Living culture grant winner. And I was so proud of that. Even though we've been doing this since the 90s, actually this is about the first recognition I've gotten of this type. We've gotten a little press. The Times featured us in 2011. They gave us 3/4 of a page. I was very proud of that. They came to the house to do story on the miniature museum. This one.
Let's take the screen, the plexiglass off, maybe.
That's
Yeah.
we can take this one.
Oh, that's okay.
This is about the Klan and some of the things that black people had to go through in slavery and even after slavery and Jim Crow, where you can see the terror. It's called Terror by Night. And we have a lady standing outside of an outhouse, which is where they had to go to use the restroom. And there is a Klan member passing by with a gun in his hand, a shotgun, and he has his horse. Now you see the lady, she's motioning for whoever's in the outhouse to be very quiet. There is information inside to tell the onlookers exactly what this depicts. The first one I made was very violent. The Klan members were riding through town with torches and what have you, but I was showing it to children. So I had to modify it and make it something to where they'd ask questions instead of being frightened. So this is something that I made here. Let's see. The next one, this is kind of fanciful for the kids. I try to make things for the children too. And this is the cake topper. And what it is, I stole the cake topper from my grandchild's birthday cake. She had a Tiana theme. And we made my husband made this, the box. And I put her, the little girl there, reading the book about Tiana. And then the actual cake topper is her imagination as she's reading the story. So everything has a storyline to it. And if you look at it long enough, maybe you can make the connection. So that is for the children. Let's see, what else do we have over here?
You wanted to show us those ones.
We have, this is,
I can come over. You can keep it. Yeah.
this is the life and times of Madam C.J. Walker. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she was the first self-made female millionaire in the United States. She made her fortune making hair products for black women's hair. In the beginning, in the early 1900s, here, get out of the way, Kim. This is about all the work that a black woman could get, and that was as a laundress. So we had that, and there's writing up there. She thought that she could do better. She left the South here and moved to Denver, and she was still doing menial laundry. And she still felt like she could do better. She had a daughter, Aaliyah Walker, and she decided to leave there. And here, she moved to St. Louis, I believe, and began to make her own hair products. And you see there are jars there, there's a shipping box. She's with Charles Walker, her husband, who knew about advertising. So she became the first African American woman to show her actual face on her products. He taught her about that. They disagreed with each other about the amount of money. He was satisfied with X amount and she wanted more. So, among other things, they separated. After that, she taught a sales force that went all over the world to teach her method of doing hair and using her hair products. She settled in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where her headquarters were. I live right down the street from there, in the Walker Building. They had a movie theater. They had offices for all the black businessmen in the city of Indianapolis. Everything. They had a beauty shop. They had a ballroom, and it's still standing today. The next one, these are the people that she was an entrepreneur, and she donated. She was a philanthropist to a lot of different causes. She supported W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. This is Aaliyah, as a grown woman, her daughter. And the non-lynching campaign of Frederick Douglass, anti-lynching. So these are pictures of her. She moved to New York and bought a mansion. It was called Villa Luaro, and it was very ornate, just everything. And she bought that and bought her sales force there to see what was possible if they worked hard enough. And here's Madam Walker here in her home. She was very stylish. She loved hats. And there's a pipe organ in her home that is very prominent and historical. I doubt if it looks like that, but it was symbolic. And these pictures here were made by a friend of mine of Madam Walker. And my cousin drew this with charcoal. So that is my tribute to Madam C.J. Walker. Let's see. We'll get that one from Matthew Henson, the little one. Okay, that is a diorama of Matthew Henson, who was the guide for Matthew Perry, who discovered the North Pole. Well, he was the guide, so he got there first, but he was never given the recognition. So I created that for them, for the children to know about him. I try to get stories that they haven't heard before. They usually tell stories the same every time, but there are a lot of different moving parts to Black history. Let's see, there we have Flojo. And of course, she was the fastest woman in the world. I'm using polymer clays that are soft clays, and they can be molded, and then you can put them in your oven and heat them, and it comes out very hard, like plastic. And so it's very easy to handle. There's, oh my goodness, Harriet Tubman, and she's leading some people out of slavery. They may be to the banks of the Ohio, getting ready to cross over, waiting for the boats. You see her with the gun. She's ready to defend her train riders. Okay, so she was Moses. Let's see. This is another one here of Malcolm X, Life and Times, and it shows him as a pimp, and then he goes to prison, and from there he becomes a minister, and he preaches on the corners to the common people to bring them to Islam and pride. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's see. Yes, those are the life and times of Malcolm X. So this journey that I went on was out of desperation, heartbreak. Um, my son, right before graduation, decided to join a gang and got into some serious trouble. And he was given 15 years, and he did 8. He came out, and he was still young, and did another stupid thing. He did not kill anybody, he did not shoot anybody, he did not rape anybody. But the way this system goes, if you're black and you don't have a lot of money, you're going to see a lot of time. So the next time he got arrested, they gave him 167 years. So that is where he is today. But it knocked me to my knees. And I was just torn apart and very, very depressed. And I prayed a lot and asked God, please, just please help me. And this is what came of that. I wondered, what could I do to help these kids out here in the streets now? And because evidently I didn't do enough of it at home, that he would think that little of himself, to put himself and his family through all of this. So this is where this came from. They tell me it's positive. The children love it, and they're going back to their teachers. Their teachers telling me that the ones that were docents are like rock stars after the show, because all of their peers on campus, very excited to see the museum, and that they were given the responsibility of standing with the museum as docents. Are there any questions right now?
Yeah, I'm wondering what is your hope for the museum into the future?
The future looks bright in that I'm almost 70, but I still have hope. I want a place, a permanent place, for the museum to be exhibited. We're expanding, but you'll see we have not enough room for everything. I want a place where people can come with their children. That's the number one question people ask me. Where can we come and see your work? I can't invite them to the schools. You can't do that. And that's generally where we are. You can come to a public place, but there are not that many, that we do all the time. So I want some place where people can come. I might have a little book section for the children. I want to have an art class for them where I can teach them this craft or other crafts. Where did my little lady go? This is something very simple that they can make. And these are things I make, silly things, in the meantime. And it's just clay that could be shaped any kind of way, with a little head and then some raggedy clothes like that. So kids could do this as an introduction to the creativeness of art. So these are some of the things I would like to do with children. And a place like that would open up a whole new world, I think, for the kids. And this is for you. This is for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's for you, Jennifer.
And how can viewers support the museum?
If you would like to support the museum, because we really do need funds in order to do this, you could go to Cash App, Miniature Museum 321, and if it's just $5, we will appreciate it. I'm looking now for a space, something maybe donated, that we can rehab and have the community share in the museum. So if you can donate, or if you know someone that can donate, or if you can share this on your site, we would appreciate it very much. Again, Cash App, Miniature Museum 321.
Any final words?
Final words is keep your hope keep your convictions. Not everybody's going to like your work. They're not. So don't even think about them. If someone has a constructive criticism or even a bad one, that always inspired me to do better. Okay, maybe I should, work on this a little bit more, or, I know what to do. And people told me which ones they'd like to see. So keep on doing your work. Don't be ashamed if it, looks kind of crazy. I used to carry them like this to my sister, and if she couldn't identify it, then I had to start over again. Okay, so keep on, and you'll get there wherever it is you want to be. So I think that's about all I had to say, and I appreciate each and every one of you for listening. So if you have questions, just let me know.
All
Any
right.
questions?
No more questions right now, but thank you, Miss Karen. This is wonderful.
Well, thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate you coming and doing this.
Okay.